Hey everybody, what's up? I'm here to talk about, well, I've got a few things I want to talk about in my next few posts, a few things I'm working on, but I wanted to get this one out of the way. It's kind of been on my mind the past week. I've been watching the TV series Firefly. Uh, I'm not sure how I heard about this series, just through talking with certain people, and that was enough to make me go on Wikipedia, look on Amazon.com, IMDb, things like that, and find out the story behind the series. And the more I heard about the story, the more interested I became in it. And basically, what happened is this series, which typically happens, it seems like to a lot of good series, was canceled way before its time. Um, there's 14 episodes total. I think 10 or 11 of them were aired. The ones that were aired out of order. It's created by Joss Whedon, I think is how you say his name. Um, he's the writer, producer, director. I don't even know what exactly it is. I think the creative force behind Buffy and the Angel series. The TV series, like I said, was canceled before its time. It's a science fiction western, I guess is the best way to call it. So maybe it's a hard concept for people to swallow. I was, like as I heard about it. I'm not sure how, um, but just doing, finding out the story really got me interested in it. So I rented it, and the first few episodes were a little clunky, but they were, it's the opening act, and they were interesting enough where it got me through. And by about episode 3 or 4, it really clicked with me. There's a great ensemble cast that takes place, or that's part of this series. You've got the main captain, who's a hard ass but has an interesting sense of humor, interesting code of ethics. You've got his first in command. She's a real hard ass kind of army type. Um, Her husband is a pilot of the ship. You've got the heavy kind of Adam Baldwin plays the big muscle kind of shoot 'em up guy. He's hilarious. There's a mechanic who's kind of the soul of the ship. There's a shepherd. He's like a priest. And then the two most interesting characters, people they pick up, a doctor and his sister. And his sister holds all these different secrets. She's, um, I guess you would say, autistic or schizophrenic. I'm not sure what her deal is, but she's also a genius, and you find out all these scientific experiments were on her, and she holds all these secrets within her. And I'm not going to get into those to ruin the story for you. Um, but as the story builds and as the characters build, I'm blown away by the storytelling. I'm a fan of science fiction. I love Star Wars, um, any kind of science fiction I like, but I've never been a fan of the western, and this has great western motifs. But it was interesting the way it was done. It was so creative, and the writing was fantastic. The chemistry between the crew, or the cast rather, was incredible. The storylines were great. The special effects were really cool, and just a lot of stuff happened that I didn't expect. And watching it gave me a little faith back in TV. I'm not a fan of most TV that's on. I do a daily, or I do my weekly American Idol blog or vlog, um, which is a guilty pleasure. But other than that, I watch 24. I watch The Office. There's no sitcoms I watch. There's not a lot of dramas I watch anymore either. When I was a kid, I ate anything they force fed me. And now it's like I'm very selective, and it's just all crap. Um, but this gave me some faith that there are some really interesting, creative, wonderful ideas out there. And in a lot of ways, it reminds me of Lost in that they're not afraid to take chances and really um, mix things up. And even though I'm watching Lost on DVD, I'm about halfway through season 2. Um, that's still a wonderful show too. That just is interesting and keeps you on your edge of your seat, and it's never the same thing from week to week. Um, So it's a great series. And doing the kind of some research on it and watching some of the DVD extras and uh, going to some of the websites and stuff, there was a whole movement with this show. It got canceled way before its time. Um, and the fans came together like they have on a few other shows. Um, and they revived the series in that when the DVDs came out, they were like huge. It sold huge numbers. And, money talks. And it happened to the Family Guy. The DVDs came out, and it was this huge hit, and they revived the series. Well, the Firefly series hasn't been revived yet, but they did end up making it into a major motion picture, Serenity, which is actually the name of the ship. The movie answered a lot of questions. It finished off a bunch of storylines. It was a nice way to end the series. It ended on a good note. And yet they kept it open if the series ever came back in some other form. But also the movie was done in a way where if you didn't watch the series, you could still enjoy it. But if you were a fan of the series, there was a great payoff. And this goes to show the power of our voices, of our dollar, of our spending. And there were various websites that were instrumental in this. And one of them, they call themselves the Browncoats. I think maybe browncoat.com, because of the Western motif, a few of the main characters wear the brown coats, like cowboys. So they call themselves Browncoats. And the Browncoats helped keep this series alive by uniting fans and making fan sites and buying things. And they ended up getting this movie made. And as a fan of the series, that movie at least gave some ending and some finalized some things. But one of the things behind the brown coat movement, and I'm going to consider myself a brown coat, is to just tell people, hey, borrow these DVDs or rent this or buy it or go see this movie, rent this movie, etc. It's well worth it. I rented mine. I think I'm gonna go out and buy the DVDs just so I can spend some more time with it. I spent a lot of time with it this weekend watching the extras. I kind of hibernated. Needed a weekend to relax. Listened to a lot of commentaries and DVD extras and whatnot. You can tell I've been laying around all weekend. I look like crap, but hey, it's a great series, and so I'm gonna become a brown coat. And if all that means is I buy the DVD and I spread the word to you guys, hey, check it out. Like I said, give it a few episodes worth. It's an interesting series, but it's different. It's a whole different universe, and there's a lot to understand and there's a lot to digest. And had this survived another season or two, some of the nuances of the storyline and the universe and the time this takes place would have really seen the light of day. But hey, rent this movie or rent these DVDs and rent the movie after the DVDs, after the series, if you're into science fiction or even westerns. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of westerns, but it didn't matter. There's a really creative element, and enough that makes me want to go back and watch the Buffy stuff, which I've never watched, or Angel. Just check those out. I'd like to see what this Joss Whedon guy is about. So, with that said, I've got a lot of other vlogs I want to do this coming week. Kind of want to work together with a fellow blogger, but I'll talk about that in my next post. So for now, take care and check it out, or at least do some research on Wikipedia or whatever about this series. So for now, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Bye.